let's settle in. Welcome to our meditation time. It is truly an honor to get to close out my week and spend these few minutes with you. So I would invite you just to settle in, just to allow your body to become comfortable in this familiar spot wherever you are. Just feel the ground beneath you, feel the chair, the cushion, whatever it is that you're on, just feel it. Imagine that it's supporting you in that exact spot where you are. And then as you allow your eyes to close, or you soften your gaze, just begin to let all the distractions around you feel like they're becoming quieter and quieter. Whatever noises there are in the space where you are, whatever movement you heard just seconds ago, see if you can tune into this present moment so much that those sounds just become softer and softer and softer, until all that you're paying attention to is this breath coming in and this breath going out. And then settle into a rhythm right here that feels good, a rhythm that really honors what you need today. Today's inspiration comes from Yoga Sutra 2, number 43, and it is about Santosha. It is one of my most favorite words in Sanskrit, Santosha, to the point that when I say it, I almost can't help but smile. And I wish that we had a word in English that captured the essence of Santosha to the depth of what it is. But the best that we've got is contentment. Contentment. Sometimes I think contentment gets a bad rap. People think that it's just settling for something, just kind of giving in, resigning yourself to something. But the Santosha contentment that we're talking about is the kind where you truly are happy with what you have. And I don't mean your material possessions. I don't mean the status of your life. I mean that you are just so happy with this breath coming in right here, that you feel the joy of what it is to be able to breathe in and live. That you can't even see any lack in your life. And that doesn't mean that there are not still things that we want or things that we aspire toward. But it means that this sense of Santosha, it really undergirds who we are and how we move through the world. This breath coming in is enough. We marvel at it. We just imagine the body hanging on to all the nourishment that that breath has, and then we just marvel as it turns loose of the parts that it doesn't need. Contentment. One of the translations for this Yoga Sutra that talks about Santosha says, "From a place of contentment, supreme joy is attained." And I know that in our very logical, very human minds, oftentimes we would think, if I could just experience the joy first, then contentment would come. But I think Patanjali, even in his wisdom, was just as human as you and I. And he knew that in this sutra, he had to start with the contentment. He had to tell us that as you begin to just abide in this sense of contentment, supreme joy will be yours. Not just that happiness that we talked about a second ago, but this joy that you almost can't even put into words. I remember listening one time to the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu in their interview of their time together talking about this question of joy. Two men that have experienced such struggle and such suffering in their lives as countrymen, as leaders. For decades, they have seen hard times. And I remember watching their faces And if you didn't know either of their stories and you didn't know any of the suffering that either of these men had encountered, all you would see on their face was that supreme joy that Patanjali is talking about. Because each of them talked about in this interview how they live a life content. They live a life of enoughness. They don't focus on the lack. They don't focus on the hard things that they have experienced. They don't focus on the things that they are missing in their lives. They wake up every day marveling at that breath filling up their lungs and another chance to live another day. And I remember just watching their faces and just watching these smiles and thinking, I've never seen such authenticity on someone's face before. And it inspired me to think, I want that kind of authenticity on my face. I want the contentment that's in my heart with this breath coming in to be an expression on my face of supreme joy. But again, we live in the real world. And while this is a beautiful thing to think about, the question is always there, how? How? Well, Patanjali would tell us, it's what you meditate on. What you meditate on is what your life is. And if you will sit with contentment when you show up on your cushion or on your spot, wherever you are, contentment will be how your life goes. Contentment will be what undergirds how you move through your day, how you interact with suffering, how you encounter challenges, and how you celebrate beautiful moments. And then you too will have this authentic joy on your face, no matter what it is that life is sending your way. And again, our thinking mind kicks in and says, yeah, but this thing I'm going through is really hard. This thing I'm going through is really challenging. And while I don't think that we should ever lay our challenges out and compare and draw a line to see who suffers the most, again, I go to the Dalai Lama. And I think about the fact that 70 years, he's been in suffering because of the way that his countrymen have been treated and the way that his land is no longer his home. 70 years. And some of us wonder how we'll go through suffering for 70 minutes. But when I look on his face, I see exactly what Patanjali was describing here. For those who abide in contentment, supreme joy is attained. Yes, he has suffered. Yes, he can't return to the land that is his home. Yes, he has to figure out a way to maintain his spiritual traditions, his culture, his language in a new place, in a new home, all at the hands of other people. But never once do you see the suffering on his face. You just see the joy. What if we could live that way as well? And again, it's not lining up and comparing if our suffering is harder than his or not as hard. It's recognizing that we have it. And even amidst it, contentment is possible and joy is just around the corner. Santosha. So what I'd like us to do is just in the next couple moments of quiet, I'm actually going to give us this word, Santosha, kind of as our mantra, just to say it again and again, because Truly, I can't help saying it and smiling at the same time. And so maybe my joy, my contentment about this practice can begin to just bubble out and inspire your contentment, which will then lead you to your joy. And so I'll share the mantra of the word Santosha a few times. Then my voice will grow quiet. And let's just sit with this idea of abiding in contentment, abiding in Santosha, and then attaining supreme joy. So just take a slow breath in and a slow breath out. And a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Just maintain your breath with this mantra, Santosha. 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 And just continue to breathe. Santosha. 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 And as we prepare to close our time and re-enter whatever activity you still have today, I want to give you one more translation of Santosha. It's not in any book, any commentary, any translation. It's the translation that comes from my heart. It's the way that I capture this word, what it means to me. And I hope that maybe in some small way you can feel it in the way that I share. And you can begin to understand that even amidst the suffering, it is possible. Santosha, being so in love with your life that you just can't wait for the next breath to come. Being so in love with your life that you just can't wait for the next breath to come. It's not out of desperation that you're waiting for the breath. It is truly this anticipation of, I'm so blessed. I'm so fortunate. And I am so content that I can't wait for this next breath to come. Imagine going through your life just anticipating moment by moment by moment. Truly being in love with your life. Challenges, celebrations, sufferings, and joy. All of it. Santosha. And as we go through this week, just keep that in mind. We all want the supreme joy. And He's just given us the path for how to receive it. Abiding in contentment. Santosha. Namaste.